So, hi, I'm Michelle,
I'm Charlotte.
and welcome. What beeped?
Was that mine or was that yours?
No, I'm still recording.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Sorry, it might have been my camera. I might have just hit the wrong button. Okay.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
I'm Charlotte.
And welcome back to
Our World of Wonders.
We're at a cool location. I know a lot of local stories about this area, but I really don't know if they're true or not. So there are houses directly just off the road, so we won't be able to get in and check out the way we would like to.
Plus there's ticks. You know,
Yes.
we have to, it's very overgrown.
Oh,
we have to
a
really
lot,
be
yeah.
careful of ticks this time of the year.
So we will take we will take a couple of pictures, and I'll tell the story as I remember it. This particular little grouping of trees was known as Kids Woods, Kidds, I think. And there was a family that lived in here, and they had several children. I believe at least 2 boys and a daughter. I don't know if any family members are still alive. I kind of think the stories are based in the 70s. And 2 of the boys were challenged. And as far as I know, the girl was fine. And one of the stories that my husband's sister would tell was that one of the boys would come into Bewdley. And we're quite a ways from Bewdley. I don't know how many
not
miles.
that far. Yeah, we quite a walk if you're walking.
That he would walk into
Yeah.
Bewdley. He would have a big dog. Now, I'd probably like a German Shepherd or something, on one of those big link chains. And he would either be carrying a shotgun or a pitchfork or both. And he was completely horrifying to everybody. But he would go to like the local store there.
Well, yeah.
Which is just like a little local store that did everything, post office, variety store. And people were all afraid of them. Well, as the story goes, there was a lot of old derelict cars in the back 40 of the property, and the 2 boys would sit in the cars and get totally rip-roaring drunk. It was probably moonshine.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of moonshiners out this way. And the one brother had passed out, and the other brother had decided to commit suicide. And when the brother who was passed out woke up, he was in the car, and his brother basically had half a head, and he was covered in blood, so he had a breakdown, I'm assuming. And it was not that long afterwards, like months afterwards, that he hung himself in the barn. Now, I could not back up any of this on historical fact. I couldn't find anything. I know that the name of the families are correct, and that there are still, that name is around. Whether the story is completely true or not, I don't know.
Yeah. You might, like I say, you might be able to find out in the archives at the library, but it would be an extensive search.
Yeah, and I would need to know a date of some kind. So, knowing this background, my husband's older brother, Lenny, used to come out to this area hunting for morels. And this little bit of woods where we're parked, this flat bit, my husband had gone in and was looking for morels. And this is a guy who's faced wolves and bears and all sorts of animals, never fazed him. He went into the woods and became terrified for no reason. And just came running out. Like, I was looking around the edge here, and he's like, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. Got in the car, and like, we just, vroom, left. And this was probably, I don't know if I had kids or not, so it was probably over 25 years ago. He's driven down this road, maybe once or twice, since that incident, but he will not come back down here. Whatever it was scared him very badly. So we're in the right area for where he was scared, but there are now 2 houses. Like, this whole property was sold, and there's houses kind of all over the place where there wasn't. He does remember as a kid the derelict barn with a piece of rope hanging, where like they'd cut him down, but they had left the rope in the rafters. At least this is the story. Is any of it true? We don't really know. So we're going to go take a few snapshots and just see if we find anything. If anything pops up, we'll stop and will tell you immediately. And I'm going to be incredibly careful while I pick up this camera and make sure we have it saved, because this is like 3 times we've lost info. And okay, there we go. Charlotte's just told me that there's something interesting going on with her camera.
I don't know, all my pictures are coming out blurry and I don't know why. I don't know whether it's just because it's because it's getting darker and it's not able to focus properly. I mean, the flash is going off, but I don't know, it's strange.
So that it could be an anomaly. We'll have to check her photographs and see. So I'm just showing the area that we're taking pictures of. When John got incredibly frightened, he was probably right in that little area right here. I'll zoom in if I can, if it'll allow me. He was right in that little area here. And it's sort of in between 2 hills, which is how I can remember where it was. It goes up in that direction. And that hill just over here. So we stopped where it was flat, and he went in probably about where the driveway is, and he was coming through. And when he got to this area, that's where he became completely terrified for no reason. So that's why I've been taking a lot of pictures there, and we will get back to you in just a moment. Here are 2 examples of blurry photographs. These are mine. I didn't get any of Charlotte's, but we did get quite a few blurry photographs for no particular reason, and here's an example of them. So here's a picture of Charlotte. She's just told me that she's seen something in her view screen. She's not quite sure what it is. The next photograph is her picture. She's got several orbs. There's one to the left middle side screen. There are 2 on the right by the gray bark on the big tree, and there's another one just in almost triangular shaped from it. I believe there's more in this picture if you look really closely. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's just bugs. You had said there were mosquitoes, which is why we included the 3rd photograph. The 3rd photograph clearly shows an insect. You can see the wings and the body. You'll notice that it's very bright, reflecting the flash directly back at us, which tells us it's reflecting off of something solid. That's how you can tell the difference between an orb and an insect. Very clear to see the difference. Now, I've included my picture of the tree where Charlotte got her orbs for a very important reason. Down at the bottom, you'll notice 2 little white marks that could be misunderstood as orbs or something unusual. The reason we ask you to take so many pictures of the same area is to confirm whether something is in there or not. Like in Charlotte's photograph and my photograph, there are 2 white dots on those leaves, and when you zoom in and double check them, they're actually bird droppings. So just another thing to be aware of. Not everything is always what it seems. Now, I've just included a few of my pictures of the general area so you get an idea of what the area is like. There is nothing exceptionally special about any of them, but there is a couple of things I wanted to point out. The pictures start from the far left of the area and move through to the right-hand side, which is where the sun was setting at this particular time. I also took a couple of pictures of the edge of the road so you can see what that is like. You always take 2 or 3 of the similar area so you have something to compare to. You'll notice my up-close area of the road. It's a very sandy area, which means there is probably very high in quartz, which is a sort of a good thing if you're looking for unusual things. As we move through, you'll notice a very weird kind of a picture with a blurry something on the side where a lot of people might think, oh, there's a ghost or there's something really weird there. No, that's the sunlight catching and refracting in the lens of the camera. I've also included the last couple of pictures show you the area where the sun is coming through, and you can see it's bright, but it's not reflecting in the lens. And that is something that people need to be very, very careful about. It is very easy to have a light source reflect into the actual lens of your camera or off of the side of the lens and back into the camera. And it can create some really funky looking
pictures, they're not paranormal, but you sort of do need to know what to look for. And this is a classic example of light refraction into the lens, but it can also make some really pretty pictures, like the two that don't have any light refraction at all. Just a little something for you to notice the next time you're out and you're taking your own photographs.
Oh, we're back.
It's so buggy out there. We couldn't stay out for very long. Mosquitoes are terrible.
So you'll able to see the area. I filmed the area where John got really frightened. There are thousands of mosquitoes out there. Like, we only had the car door open for a second, and like 6 or 7 of them got in.
Yeah.
So we can't go in because there's houses there. But we'll have to check and see. Mm-hmm. And when there are a lot of mosquitoes, you have to be extremely careful.
Because they show up in the pictures, yeah.
Now, mosquitoes do look in a specific way. So it should be easy to tell whether it's a mosquito or not. We've done this enough that you can tell. Basically, it might look like an orb. But what happens is it reflects the flash back very brightly. Mm-hmm. Or
it has little, you can see the wings.
Yeah, or you can see wings and it looks like a mosquito.
Yeah.
So we can usually tell. Oh, I just created murder. So you can usually tell if it's a mosquito. So we're going to have to look. We did cover the area where John got really quite concerned and upset. So I might even try to interview John.
Well, yeah.
And see if we can get him to tell the story.
Yeah, that would be cool.
He would have been young at the time. So whether it's a story that family made up to tell him or it's really real, although he does remember the guys. He remembers the dog. Like, so there's certain parts of the story that he does know is true. And he did see a barn with a rope hanging from a rafter, supposedly. So, you know, who knows what he remembers now, because it's several years later, and we're like older. So we'll see if he may not want to be interviewed, or he might do it off screen. Well, yeah, because he's a little camera shy. So we'll see what happens, and if I can find any information, I'll definitely add that on. But it's just a interesting little area. I don't really get creeped out.
No, I don't either. It feels very peaceful to me, really.
It does, actually.
It just feels like a nice, peaceful woods to me.
And it could be that with people living here, perhaps
it's changed the energy.
The energy has changed, and they could be in the back 40 of the woods. Like, because people are living up close to the road, they may have moved back. And there's no way to test back there at all, unless we went in and said, excuse me, but we're investigators and we want to go on your property to see if there's anything unusual. They might just say no, thank you.
Well, yeah, they might not be too happy about that.
It depends. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable just going in and asking if we could go in. But if it was someone I knew, or somebody that knew them, that could say, I've got some friends that might like to investigate your woods, because you never know. So maybe at some point we can revisit or not. But we'll do a little checking out. And
revisit maybe when it's not so buggy.
Well, yeah. Like, I don't think doing a ghost box or anything tonight would really be.
No.
It
might be kind of interesting to come out here in the fall when it's dark.
Actually, that's a good idea.
If we can find it again, and just take some pictures then and see what comes up. Well, we might be more likely to pick something up.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, once it gets dark, and if the people are sort of settled down in bed in their house and they're not out and about, they might be closer to the road.
Of course, they probably get people out here all the time, stopping, going for walks and stuff. And
well, yeah, it's hard to say.
We're on the side of the road; they can't really say anything.
No,
as long as we're not walking into their property.
Once we get in a little ways, we'd be in trouble. So. We'll have to just investigate and take a look at the computer. And you never know. We might find something in a picture and decide to do dowsing or something. So if we do that, we'll add it in. I don't think there's really any more to add until we can find out whether the stories are true.
That's right. Kind of look at the pictures happens, and then, like I say, maybe come back in the fall.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
When it's not buggy, when it's darker.
Yeah. And you sort of want to, like, don't just go someplace in the dark and never having been there before.
Well, yeah.
You sort of need to know where you are at. And if you're in the woods or on someone's property, take a compass. Find out where, like, in what direction your car is.
Well, yeah.
So you can always get back to it. Like, I have 2 or 3 compasses in my bags. So, like, I always make sure, because, you know, my granddad, have a compass.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, always, because I'm terrible. Unless the stars are out, and then I could find north.
Well, yeah, and if the sun is still up, and you can see, I mean, the sun, I think, is down now, so...
It's getting close.
It's a little, well, I guess because the sky is orange over there, that would probably be northwest.
Well, that would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So, bye from Michelle.
Yeah, bye from Charlotte for now.
And we'd like to ask you, what makes you say, wow? We haven't been saying that for a while.
No, we haven't. Well, we haven't been doing that.
Hi everybody, it's Michelle. I thought I'd be able to talk to my husband about the Kidd family on film, and he freaked out. We sort of thought he might, but I did find out some important information. It wasn't himself and his sisters and brothers that knew the story. It was his mother who actually saw the people coming into town and knew the family personally, because she grew up with them. So that's where the stories originated. It actually happened in the mid to late 30s to mid to late 40s. So the time frame was a lot earlier than I had thought. But as far as the stories about them coming into town with pitchforks and a big dog on a chain, all of those stories are true. The suicide stories are more or less true. In the car one with the gun, that happened. In the barn, that happened. There may have been a different person. I thought it was 2 brothers in the car. It may have been a friend and the one who used the gun. But everything that he was told as a kid came directly from his mother, who witnessed these things. And I did hear her tell some of the stories, so I know that part is true. I've been looking up on the internet to see if I can find some stuff now that I know the new date. But I can't get into the photo lists. But it doesn't really matter, because I know the family did know them, and it turns out I actually knew one of them and didn't realize it. So I do know that they existed. We didn't really find much. We'll let you take a look at the photos and see what you think. But it is an interesting story. It actually did happen. And as far as John being frightened by something in the woods, he can't really remember exactly what happened, but that happened about 30 years ago. So he does know that something happened, and we left really quickly, and we went to his sister's place and talked about it afterwards. But he doesn't really recall, and I don't know if that's on purpose or it was just long ago and he just doesn't want to recall. But those things did happen, so we'll let you decide for yourself what you think.